What happens when laughter continues past the point where it should stop? Not because of a joke, not because of shared amusement, but because it continues without cause and without control. Laughter is expected to resolve. It rises, it passes, and it returns to silence. It does not remain. But in one community, in 1962, it did not resolve. It continued beyond the moment that produced it. The same pattern began to emerge in others without any shared cause that could be identified. At what point does something familiar stop being harmless and begin to behave like something else entirely? In this case, laughter did not remain an expression. It became a condition. And once it began, it did not stay where it started. In early 1962, in a mission-run boarding school near Lake Victoria, daily life followed a fixed structure. Students attended lessons at scheduled times. Instruction followed a predictable rhythm. Movement between classrooms, dormitories, and shared space occurred under supervision. The system depended on repetition. Days were expected to resemble the ones that came before them. Deviation, when it occurred, was brief. It was corrected, and it settled. That expectation formed the basis of control. The system did not account for behavior that could continue beyond correction. It did not account for something that would not conclude. The first recorded disruption involved 3 students. They began laughing during class. At first, the behavior did not separate itself from ordinary disruption. It resembled something familiar, a moment that would normally pass, but the laughter did not stop when it was expected to. It continued after instruction resumed. It continued after attempts were made to restore order. It extended into periods where silence would normally return. What changed was not the behavior itself, but its duration. Minutes passed. The condition remained. Hours passed. It did not settle. In some cases, it extended into the following day. The longer it persisted, the less it resembled anything previously observed. What had begun as something unremarkable became difficult to account for. The effect within the classroom was immediate. Instruction could not proceed normally. Attention shifted away from lesson to disruption. Attempts to continue teaching were interrupted by reoccurrence. The condition did not remain contained to one moment. It returned. It persisted. It surfaced again. The classroom, which depended on sequence and order, began to lose both. What had been structured time became unstable. Within days, the same condition appeared in other students. It did not emerge all at once. surfaced in separate individuals at different times, but once present, it followed a similar pattern. It began, it continued. It did not return to baseline when expected. Episodes varied in length. Some ended quickly, others extended for hours. In some cases, they continued across multiple days. Reports consistently described a lack of control. The condition was not initiated or ended voluntarily. Teachers remained present. Authority remained present. But authority did not produce resolution. The system that had previously corrected deviation no longer produced the same result. As the number of affected students increased, normal instruction became impossible to maintain. Classrooms were repeatedly disrupted. Lessons could not be completed in sequence. Attempts were made to separate those affected from those who were not. These measures did not prevent further occurrence. The condition did not remain confined to specific individuals. It continued to surface. The structure of the school depended on consistency. That consistency had broken. After several weeks, the school was closed. This was not a resolution. It was a response to the failure of containment. The expectation was that removing students from the environment would end the condition. It did not. When the students returned to their homes, the same pattern began to emerge in surrounding communities. It was observed in nearby villages. It appeared in other schools. Individuals who had been present at the original location began to display similar symptoms. The condition did not remain tied to the school. It moved beyond it. It surfaced again and again across different locations. There was no confirmed physical cause linking one place to another. The spread did not follow a typical pattern of infection. It followed proximity, exposure, and shared environment. In some cases, the condition appeared shortly after contact. In others, it emerged without a clear point of transmission. The pattern was not consistent, but the outcome remained similar. In affected communities, ordinary activity became difficult to maintain in the same way. Schools beyond the original location experienced similar disruption. Additional closures followed. The sequence repeated. Emergence, persistence, loss of control, and eventual disruption of normal function. The system extended beyond a single point of origin. It became distributed. In one village, hundreds of individuals were infected over a period of weeks. Reports extended across multiple locations. The number of affected individuals increased into the hundreds, and then into the thousands. The geographic spread extended across a region of approximately 100 miles. The condition did not move in a single direction. It surfaced in separate locations, without a single path connecting them all. It expanded without forming a consistent pattern. The event did not resolve quickly. It continued for months. In some locations, the condition subsided within weeks. In others, it returned after periods of absence. The pattern did not follow a single timeline. It appeared, receded, and in some cases, appeared again. There was no fixed duration that applied across all cases. Investigations were conducted to determine a cause. No environmental factor was confirmed. No illness was identified that accounted for the patterns of spread. The condition did not behave as a conventional disease. It did not follow a consistent biological pattern. It was later described within a framework of collective behavior response. This classification accounts for some aspects of the event. It does not account for all of them. The mechanism remained incomplete. The events occurred during a period of transition. The region had recently undergone political change. Systems of authority, expectation, and education were adjusting at the same time. These conditions existed alongside the events. They provide context. They do not provide a complete account. Over time, the condition began to recede. It did not stop at a single identifiable point. It diminished gradually across locations. In some areas, it ended without recurrence. In others, it left no clear indication of why it had stopped. What remains consistent across all records is that the condition began without a clear cause, spread without a confirmed physical mechanism, and ended without a defined resolution. It began with 3 individuals. It extended across multiple communities, and it concluded without a single explanation that accounts for its full course. What remains is sequence, not cause. The record remembers.